Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Nihant, and I'm I'm very thankful for you, sir. First of all, for giving us this opportunity. Um Today, I'm here to interview Mr. N. Jandyala Murthy, who is the principal of Gokaraju Rangaraju Institute of Engineering and Technology. Mr. N. Jandyala Murthy, sir, has been serving in the Indian Air Force for about the past 25 years. He served as a he entered into Indian Air Force as a maintenance engineer and he retired as a wing commander. Today I'm here to take about a leaf from his life and to share it with the rest of the students so that it would be very really motivating for the students. Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity.
It's my pleasure to be with you all.
Well, to begin with, we all have one question for you, sir. Because for a person in the early 1971 to get into engineering stream was considered to be a little difficult in those days. You did your BTech from the most prestigious college in the country. So, what was your motivating or driving factor? Was it your family or your parents or any teacher who motivated you, or is it your idea to get into the engineering stream?
Looking back, I think the entire credit goes to my father. In fact, those days it was not called a prestigious institution, but it is called a good institution to do engineering. I clearly remember, I think it was 1967, we were at Palakonda, a village close to Srikakulam, and my father ordered a 5 pundit guide which gives the last 3 question papers for the IIT and gave it to my sister who was then in her SSLC, equivalent to our intermediate. He had the dream that his children should do engineering from institutions like IIT. In fact, we never heard of IIT. The reason actually for engineering was we were extremely good with numbers, both of us, and we had that utmost confidence saying, give us any course, we'll be there somewhere on the top. So it's got nothing to do with engineering, or if they had put us in medical, I think we would have done extremely well there also.
Well,
Then the next year, we came to Srikakulam, and after that we got posted to Vijayanagaram. And that's the time my sister wrote the exam going from Vijayanagaram to Vizag. I think she was the only one who got selected to IIT that year. And she passed on that book. She did her metallurgy from IIT Madras, 2 years senior to me. And that book was passed on to me, and I followed the same 500 guide. And it so happened I also cleared the exam, writing it from Vizag. So that was the whole credit, in fact, thinking or the vision saying that his children should go into the engineering stream and that too into IIT, the whole credit goes to my father.
yes, sir. In fact, we really appreciate that your father took so much pain to get you into the stream. Uh, Sir, you are from different background. That's you are from the state of Telangana, where Telugu is being spoken, and in Madras the only language being spoken is Tamil. So during your initial days in IIT, you faced some difficulty in coping up with the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's the same similar challenge that what our present students are facing. I've actually studied from a Telugu medium, and so by the time I reached IIT, those 3 famous words called yes, no, all right, I think I'm very good at only those 3 words. And it went on for about 2 years for me to get used to and get the courage of actually speaking with others. And in second year, one of the colleague from Andhra only, he challenged me that saying, you don't know Telugu, you don't even know English, other language like Tamil, you forget about it. So that challenge spurred me to actually learn Tamil. I could actually read the notices and the film posters, speak or converse effectively in Tamil as well. So, so the opportunities or the challenges or the people around me forced me to speak both in English as well as in Tamil.
So it's really your peer group which helped you to overcome the language
Yes,
barrier.
truly.
Can you describe a little more about your peer group? Like, what are the thoughts you were having while you are pursuing your BTech? Like any future thought, like this is my sector, I would want to work over here. Were that kind of thoughts prevailing while you were doing your BTech?
When I look back, I think all of us are exactly in the same state. You ask the present day generation, what are you thinking about your future? There'll be a quick smile that comes on the face of everybody, but they do not specify. It's more like, I'll follow the winds of fate. As it drives you, we will take it. The only difference is we had the utmost confidence saying, you give us any job, we will do it. And the marks speak for themselves. Yes. And the sort of peers appreciate saying that, okay, he is somebody who is there on the top, he can do any job. But we are, truly speaking, did not pursue any one single area saying that I think I'm going to do that. Maybe that I call it as an arrogance, but that used to be our mental state those days. And truly we were following a lifestyle of an all-rounder, be it sports, be it studies, be it other activities. We took part practically in everything.
So you did your BTech from the one of the prestigious now Institute of Engineering. So you could have got a great job in different government sectors, like you could into various manufacturing projects. But what was the driving factor for you to take Indian Air Force?
Uh, my father was retiring. He is from the judiciary side. He retired as an assistant judge. So my father rose from as a pleader to assistant judge. And he was retiring in the year 1975, and that's the year I was actually graduating from IIT Madras. So I've already decided that I'll not leave the country. I'll serve any company in India. And I added one adjective to it saying, any company which pays me the maximum salary. And I got offers something like 9 companies, and most of the pay scales were between 550 to 750. Tisco, Telco, they were offering 550. Metal Box was offering 900 rupees, but the Indian Air Force offered me 1100 rupees. So I didn't think twice. I just accepted the one which paid me the maximum, because I like adventurous life, and I was already a President Scout and a NCCC scholarship holder. So I've done enough camps, so I loved uniform. So when I asked my father, he didn't hesitate. He said, join the Air Force.
So it's really your NSS Scouts was the driving factor which always prevailed in your mind to choose the Air Force. So now looking back, how would you describe your initial stages of training as a maintenance officer to your BTech course?
See, Air Force or Defense Services is a different ball game altogether. It's highly rigid force, and the structure is highly vertical. And there's not much of, it's a procedural force, in the sense the procedure is well written, and your duty is only to implement the procedure. So you practice, practice, practice to see that you never make a mistake in any procedure. And there are enough contingency plans that are being done. So in such scenario, unless your mental makeup is a bit flexible, you will not be able to adjust to that one. Yes. And a person with a lot of grades and a lot of academic background, you require a different mentality to get used to that life. Yes, but maybe thankful to my parents, they gave me that sort of a perseverance and where I can mold myself. So I never found it difficult to sort of change, because I always believed in karma. This is my duty, let me do it properly. Let me do it to the best of my ability. Yes, sir. So it didn't make a difference to me whether I was in a uniform, which is highly defensive, in the sense structured force. So I enjoyed my career there in the Air Force. Rather very freely molding into that and loving every aspect of it.
So you were being posted for like a couple of months in a different overhaul basis to work around. So how do you describe your experience as being in the remote part of the country? What were your thoughts, like staying away from your home?
First of all, services teaches you one fantastic theme that is called first time right. Whatever you do, whether you say a sentence, whether you write a statement, or you give an instruction, it better be correct. That slowly it becomes a habit to us as we work. Yes, there is a tough time. There are tough times in the sense, the biggest tough time is to the families. Yes, the family life is highly sort of limited, and hardly anybody who can speak our language. So perforce you have to speak either in English or in Hindi or a Punjabi. Yes, and education, I don't call it bad. It's highly cosmopolitan. There is no class system or a caste system or religion which comes into picture, because all types of people will be there from all strata of the people. Right from the commanding officer to the lowest ayah, every child studies in the same school. So that's a fantastic thing for the people. But then we used to get postings frequently. Almost every 2 years, 3 years we shift. That's a bit tough on the children to get used to it. Maybe that's a boon also. Maybe when I look back, they have adjusted to the life very easily subsequently. Yes. But then I had an opportunity to work in operational basis, maintenance basis, safety, and in the command and other administrative posts. Each one is different. Maybe that's what it made me to be a complete man as far as an administrator or as a worker, as a team member, or as a team leader.
And so you're in between this, you did your MS from the Cranfield University and your PhD from the same university in combustion. So, sir, what was the driving force for you to further go ahead because you were having a very great career over here? So, is it like you took a couple of years leave to go to abroad and do your education? So, what was further motivating you to go on?
Okay, it's something like this. When I joined the Air Force, to be honest with you, I only looked at the pay. I never realized that you cannot get out the Air Force whenever you like. In fact, I used to coin a new word for Air Force when I was talking to my juniors. You either retire or die, whichever is earlier. I didn't do both of them, by the way. I continued. That's the time I realized this is my future, and it's like it's a one-way entry only. There's no exit. So I might as well make the best of the opportunities or most of the opportunities Air Force can give. And Air Force had the facility of sending people for higher education after 5 years of working to the IITs to do their post graduation. And the guy who comes first in the exam, they used to send abroad, that is to UK, to do his MS. So I happened to do my MS that way. Then while I was doing MS, I was all prepared to come back and continue with my Air Force life. That's the time the supervisor asked, why don't you continue as PhD? So that propelled me, say, okay, let me do PhD as well. But thanks to them, the very fact that I did my MS and PhD is allowing me to sit here as principal.
Well, it's quite amusing that apart from continuing your studies in like as being a topper in your intermediate or your BTech, you even continued it to be after you joined the forces. Where many people claim that after you get into a job, you can't. It isn't possible for people to get back into studies. But you put
For that, I always used to tell people, yeah, I topped my MS as well. So I tell people, each one of you is a topper when you go abroad. Believe in that. Indian students know exactly how to write exam and how to actually change themselves to any educational system. So the advice to all of you is you'll all top the exams or the boards even if you go abroad.
Uh, Sir, we always hear that there would be a proud feeling for among the people who join the armed forces. That is, whoever work for the country, there's a kind of proud feeling in them. Can you describe this proud feeling?
Even till today, after whatever 20, 40 years, coming out of the forces, if that song is played, my hair stands up, even till today. I think it's an inbuilt feeling.
Yes.
And that Sare Jahan se Acha Hindu Sitar Hamara. And when I wear the uniform, you feel you're a transformed person. And I used to have that. I cannot describe as to what made me to do that, but I just love it.
In fact, that's the one thing why Indian Army or the Indian Air Force is standing to every challenge irrespective of how they are faced or how bad they equipped at different times during the previous work. In fact, it's the spirit of you like a service personnel that had actually protected our country.
Yep, there's no doubt or denial in that. Every one of us feel the same way, and every member of the three armed forces are exactly, have the same sort of inspiration.
Sir, can you describe some instance which made you actually stand when you are working as a Air Force officer, remembering situations for you and for the Air Force?
I will not say one situation. Almost every situation is I come home. I normally psych myself up saying that when I go home, did I do anything fantastic today? That could be as small as make one of my workers smile, make one of my worker to reduce his tension, or take a decision where the snag or the fault in the aircraft or the aero system is cleared within minutes. So those days, more or less every day, I used to get that kick out of it. So I think I loved there's no unique system, no unique instance as such. Yeah, we were selected as the best Air Force officers to get trained for first time they've inducted pilotless aircraft into Air Force. They were called Chakors. So Northrop people came and trained us. and they have selected 20. I think one of the, almost like the surgical strike mercurial guys, they have selected 20 men and 2 officers, and I was one of them. I think we did wonders, all 22 of us. And I was fairly young, in the sense that happened within the 4th year, 3rd year of my Air Force joining. So I was fairly young, and those people were much younger to me. And I thought those were the days where I felt, Air Force did a right thing of selecting us. So like that. But otherwise, whichever squadron, whichever wing we worked under, we felt every day is a challenging day, and every day we felt we have contributed.
Um, as you have told that you told to your peers that there is only one way. Come inside, then you have to die or retire. So you worked for 25 years and you moved out. Like, is it the end for the technical officer period is only 25 years, or you took a volunteer retirement?
No. So I could have served till the age of about 58, but I had to choose a tough decision of leaving the Air Force because my wife was not feeling well. Her health didn't permit her to move out of places. We already moved somehow to Hyderabad. I served the Air Force for 3 years. When the time had come for me to leave Hyderabad, I threw my towel because she couldn't travel with us. So the decision is purely because she couldn't move around.
Well, immediately then you started your second innings as a professor in the mechanical department over here, and soon you turned out to be a principal in the next couple of years. So, how do you consider yourself from a role of an Air Force officer to an administrator, looking after those many kids? So, how do you describe or adjust yourself in between this?
My second passion is to talk to people and talk to students and teach. I did that tenure in the Air Force also. So the moment the Air Force, the tenure was over, which I curtailed myself, I thought the best career for me, because teaching allows you not to move around much, because my presence next to my wife was more critical. So I've decided to join the teaching field, and so happened I was fortunate to got admission into faculty as a faculty position as a professor because of my qualifications and my earlier background. So I joined GRIET. And as I told you, Air Force gives you a lot of administrative experience. Yes. So practically we know every aspect of administration. Maybe that's how the management felt that I am fit enough to be a administrator.
Yes, sir.
So soon I became the head of the department. Then they called me vice principal. Then they called me principal by 2004 after 3 years. I'm doing my best. I've learned quite a lot from the present director, who was the first principal, P.S. Rajugaru. Yes, he's an inspiring person. I've learned a lot from him. So we continue as a pair even today.
So, sir, you may worked as a trainer, training the officers in a Air Force. So, how do you look yourself like an officer commanding a dedicated group to a principal looking or shaping the young minds who have just come out of their homes? So, what the basic difference you feel in the behavior of these both kids?
Uh, One distinct difference between the civil and the military life is that vertical structure. There may be a guy who can shout at you, who is your officer, but you have 200 men below you whom you are training, and when you shout, they'll listen to you. But this type of one-way instructions and communication doesn't work in civil. You've got to be a bit more responsive to the feelings of everybody. So the first point is you got to understand that you have to be empathetic.
Yes.
What we say is you speak in such a way that people will love to listen to you, and you listen in such a way that people would like to speak to you. So whereas in the forces, the second sentence has got no meaning, but here you have to be empathetic. You should have an empathy and listen to people. So as long as you know when to listen and then speak, I think you'll do wonders. And that principle I followed and I applied when I moved over to civilian life.
Yes, in fact, it is being appreciated by every person in our college that our principal speaks very freely with us. As a second teacher, he guides us through many things. So now you have been acting as a principal since 2004. So looking back, do you think that acting as a principal, has it become easier, or it is becoming day by day tough with the changing on batches?
Hmm. In a way, it's becoming tougher because my passion is to teach. So the administrative load is becoming so much that my contact with the students is reducing day by day. That's at a personal level. And then administering the generations, people didn't say the generation gap just like that.
Yes, sir.
Every batch comes up looking at life in a different angle. So now the present generation people are coming with absolutely no care for future. They live for that day. And availability of purchasing power is, we have to accept, it's very high.
It's very high.
So to tell them about, worry about your future, and this is what you should prepare for the future, or teaching them the life skills, is becoming a bit more tougher, a bit more tougher.
So looking back, like if you have been looking to the students in the 2004 and students in the 2016, what are some of the things you feel that their mindset has been changed, or their perspective towards studies, or their behavior towards the elder? Do you think there has been a much shift?
One sort of perceptible change is the way you have been trained during the intermediate days has become more rigid for the present batches. So I used to coin this sentence, which is becoming more pronounced. You coach, we will excel. So if any mistake on the part of the child or the student, he says, it's because you have not coached me, you have not trained me. It's becoming more and more pronounced. So that in the sense, he is not taking any responsibility on his own. He is transferring that responsibility to the system, where the system is either the teacher or the college or the principal or the parent. Previous batches, at least they have accepted certain amount of responsibility, but the present generation is, that amount is even further reduced. That's the one change. As far as grasping usage of any of the gadgetries, the present day generation is any day quicker.
Yeah, that's one thing to be accepted, sir. Um, and one more thing, like these people, this younger generation, while they are studying, they don't have any responsibility. But as soon as they pass out of the college, many people complain that they haven't have the enough skills to face the world. How should I survive in this ocean of opportunities? Because they aren't able to grasp one.
See, the ocean of opportunities and the skill requirement, which is minutely different from one job to the other, that will continue to persist. I mean, they exist, and also the rate at which the skill requirement also is going to be faster and faster. So what people have to first of all develop is learn a skill and learn the confidence saying I'll be able to migrate from one skill to the other. Where we are failing is we are learning the first part, but for the second one, he is not developing that confidence. He says, teach me the other skill. I've not learned. So what the people have to say now is, I've learned a skill and I also have the confidence that I know how to migrate from this skill to the other skill. And I've got the ability to switch over. So somewhere that switch requires to be made on in the students, present day generation.
And sir, you encourage the students apart from academics in a various manner, like you encourage us to go for sports, or you even provide your support in a much manner for the college groups, and you even promote us to go for many internship or do take up opportunities outside. So how do you think this is going to play a part in the student's life?
See, the education is not, cannot be termed or finished with a word called exams. Education is preparing him for life. You are prepared for the life when your mind, body, soul, all together, requires development. The classroom studies will give you certain amount of skills, certain amount of knowledge. But then there are other skills to work in a team, to sort of, have that feelings for the system. All that will come not by sitting in the class and listening to the teacher. That will only come when you actually take part in all these co and extracurricular activities. I believe in one thing, that is, a person or a student who excels in one of them should also excel in the other. Not, it's from my personal point of view also. But that's true, because all students are like Hanumans. They don't know their capabilities. The day you say that if I'm very good in sport, why can't I be good in studies? The focus made me to be good in sports. Why can't you say that I can spend the same amount of focus for the studies as well?
Yes.
But then that type of attitudinal shift that is required in the students. So I still believe in that, and I keep insisting, saying that you have to concentrate on all the three.
Well, but the present generation is like I'm good in one skill. In fact, that has been reducing my time to concentrate on the studies. Was the fact which is actually observed in the.
That's an escapist attitude.
Yes, sir.
24 hours is common for everybody. You have perfect or enough amount of time to concentrate on all the three.
So you played different kinds of roles in your life, like as an officer, as a principal, or as a husband, as a father. So which do you think was the most challenging, or you feel that you want to live it again?
Now actually I've got another role called grandfather. Just about 10 days back only I've been elevated still further because my son is blessed with twins. So when I see a person who has to handle 3 kids, I've realized father's role is one of the most toughest one. And I think most crucial one is the father one. And to be honest with you, I want to add one more thing. Maybe because I'm a bit emotional that I know my wife left me a bit early. I would like to lead that role as well. Yes. As a husband.
And what were the major setbacks or anything you faced in your like life as an officer or as a student? Were there any setbacks, and how do you cope up yourself to that?
Okay. There were a lot of times where I practiced to take the honor, and the next day my name is not announced. Not once, many a time. So whenever I see it, so I tell my wife, I'm practicing, but I still don't know whether I'll take the sword of honor or not. And sure enough, the next day I don't take the sword of honor. So it's become common even in our family. So I got used to it saying that karma theory, really I thought I'm doing it to the full justice. You do your best. Don't wait for the fruit to come. Even if you miss it, don't feel bad about it. Yes, sir. Like, variety of, incidents. But people do consider, yeah, he's there on the top. But I missed the swords a couple of times. I never felt bad.
Yeah, we need to develop that kind of attitude, definitely, sir. Um, can you describe one point of time where you felt you were highest in your life, both it may be as an officer or you were satisfactory with your family? Everything worked out very well and you were very satisfactory with your life.
I think I go back and sleep every night like that. I've done my best today. I'm on top of the world.
That's really amazing answer to hear, sir. Uh, you were quite talking about the karma siddhanta. So, what actually is your motto about life? I mean, your perception about life. What is all life about, according to you, sir?
I always believe that we are all being born for a purpose, and we all have one role cut up for us. Okay, each one has got different levels of ability. Do it to the best. My famous example for all the teachers is this. MS Subbalakshmi, if you give him 1 crore, she sings in one rag, and the same rag, if you give her 10 rupees or if you say I'm not paying you, she doesn't spoil it. She will sing it exactly to the same level of tempo. So I believe in that. So if I don't look for a punishment or I don't look for a reward, this is my ability. To the best of my ability, I'll do my karma, and there is a purpose for me, and I know my responsibilities at house, in the street, in the society, in the job. I'll do it to the best of my ability.
So where there been any one perspective that after facing it, it has changed your looking at life? I mean, it has changed your beliefs at your life, or it has changed you drastically?
One thing really changed my life is uh, I've lost my wife in 2006. So whenever I go to somebody's place, when I listen to their problems, I used to feel, yeah, they have much bigger problems than me. And that's the time I realized there's hardly anybody who does not have problems. You don't require to pour out your problems.
How you since you developed from a student from a small village to an IIT student to an Air Force officer to a principal, how do you look at yourself all these changes?
I believe in destiny. I call it, all planets have to come in one line to make sure that that should happen to you. That's because many a time that happened. You don't need to plan. If the things have to fall in place, somebody will plan for you and make sure you'll go there.
So, like in your very early life, like in the 1980s, you fly to abroad. So, what were the striking changes or things you observed over there in 1980s from you? England to India or US to India to the present when you had actually went to US about a month ago. So you think the pace between the two countries is actually rising up?
In fact, they have not risen. I know the stark difference in 1982 when I went from 81 I was supposed to go, but then got postponed to 82. In 1982, I went from a place called Kalaikunda, which is close to Kharagpur IIT, to UK. I think it was a wild up difference. I've only seen a black and white TV, and that too with a lot of rain in that. Hardly you see any TV picture in Kalaikunda. Somebody told me there is a thing called VCR, just like tape, when you put it, you can see the picture and the voice. I only awestruck. And I know only computers with cards, and the first time I've seen a keyboard when I went there. And if you see now, they are more or less there only. But our country has caught up like that. That's something amazing as far as our country's progress is concerned. So now, as far as the technology or the facilities are concerned, there's hardly any difference between that place and our place. It is just that we don't believe in our duty towards society, the way we keep the society, follow the rules, etc. Or maybe our color is slightly different than us, theirs. But other than that, I think there's hardly any difference between that country and our country.
One more thing which is mainly observed in the present society is that government or a person who comes out with something, there will be many other factors like his own caste and etc. Play a role in that being passed out. It's the basic thing that is which is actually stopping us to move ahead.
It's something which we have to carefully tread, because this caste system was loosely talked about, but now it is entrenched like real walls across our progress as such. When we are actually having the problem of overpopulation, limited opportunities, and if you put fresh barriers like caste and the religion and other reservations, so it's you cannot summarily take them out, nor you can gradually wean them off, because politics is something, and because everybody is trying to make his day survivable. He is not, they do not have the vision, or they do not thinking too much ahead. But within this, I think our system is almost like a beehive. From afar, it looks very, very, very stable. But if you come very close, you can see, the amount of chaos that is there. So we are living in such situation. I think time only will tell which way we are going to move. Whatever the progressive thoughts we have, are they really going? I mean, are we running very hard to only stay on the same place?
So looking from your life perspective as a principal and an officer, what would be the one thing using this platform you would like to give to the students or the present youth?
You see, we are supposed to be only to show you the light so that you excel and you find the way you're supposed to carry your life further. That's our main duty. So in that dharma, every possible facility I have to create it for, not just for one or two, the toppers of the branch, for the entire 5,000 students that I have. So our endeavor has been to see that they reach to their potential, whatever is their potential, to the maximum of their potential. That means I have to make that Hanuman in you wake up, and we keep doing it.
So today you have told us many things that how you were exceptional in every aspect of your life. We even came to know today that you actually, apart from being a brave officer or a married student and as a father, or you were a really great husband that you nursed your wife for the 2 years when she was on her bed. That's really inspiration for us, our youngsters. That you leading such a different roles and you were extremely well in every aspect of that. That actually is a kind of message we need, every youngster needs to understand. That we feel very obliged that you give us a chance to take your interview and gave a leaf from your life so that it could be shared with every other individual student. We really thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being with you and your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.